we're here to protest about the fact that there's no consultation, and Regional Rail Link is going ahead building the railway line, the Regional Rail Link, without really speaking to the residents in the local area. And let me say, yes, they have talked to us, but what they've done is they've only talked to people one-on-one, and they've had some very small consultations where they've basically had a presentation. We've turned up and they've told us what they're going to do, and then after a couple of months they've come back and said they've made a decision, and nothing that they told us at those consultations is actually in the decision that they made. So I want to explain something that Fix the Links has been campaigning for, and I want to also explain that we've actually spoken to all the key players. We've spoken to Bernie Finn here at his office and his government. We've sent letters to the minister, to a number of ministers, to explain what we're on about. We've actually met with the senior executives of Regional Rail Link, Corey Harnett and his crew. We've met with the Liberals. We've met with the local Labor Party representatives. We've sent letters to council. We've sent letters to all the local members of Parliament. And so we've had a fairly extensive consultation ourselves. We've gone out there and explained what we would like them to do. And what we think is happening is that they're not listening. They're not listening to the people that it's going to affect. And that's what's really making us protest here today, because we're the people that this regional rail link is going to be affecting the most. And right along the rail corridor, there is not a greater concentration of people who will be affected by the rail line, because most of the corridor is actually non-residential. So we are the residents that are going to be affected most by the rail noise, and if you have a look at the maps, you can go on the website and see it. We're the ones that should be consulted in terms of fixing the links. Now, what we've been proposing for a long time is that the rail line needs to be cut in. And it needs to be cut in for a number of reasons. Firstly, because it's the best solution. It means that you will not have the same problems with noise coming off the railway line. It'll be down lower. And we've given a fairly good, put a fairly good case, and I'll urge you to go onto the blog and look at the case that we've put there. It's a very clear case of why the cutting in should be done. Having said that, Regional Rail Link has come back and told us, no, it's not going to happen. This is what we're going to do. We're going to build it like it is, and then we're going to stick a wall there. I've got to say that right throughout this whole process, they have never given us a satisfactory answer on why they have decided not to cut in the railway line. The first thing, they've said it's cost prohibitive. So what we said to them, well, all right, if it's cost prohibitive, how much does it cost? You must know, if you think it's cost prohibitive, how much it costs. No answer. We asked them, all right, so you've cut in the railway line at Wyndham, right? Now, was that cost prohibitive? They said no. I said, well, how much did that cost? So if it's not cost prohibitive in Wyndham Vale, then why is it cost prohibitive in Sunshine? So they've come up with some answers, and they've said something like, you know, Wyndham Vale is a greenfield site. Well, actually, the whole corridor down Fraser Street and down Forest Road is a greenfield site. There's no railway line on the corridor beside the railway line currently, so you could build it besides the current railway line. So all those questions we've put to them, and we've not got a satisfactory answer. Okay, so given they've made their decision they're not going to cut in the railway line, what's their alternative? They've talked about building a noise wall, and they said that they've consulted us about it. Well, I'll tell you what the consultation process was. It was this leaflet which said noise update, where they presented us with a number of options that we could discuss with them. Have a look at the pictures. Right, you can see the pictures. There's a beautiful wall here made of stone. There's a wooden wall here. There's a wall with a textured wall, they call it. And there's a glass wall that they've provided us with. Well, guess what? After the consultation, we went, you know, to the consultation with them, discussed all these options. The wall we're getting is none of those walls. The wall we're getting is a wrought iron wall which will rust, right? It's the ugliest thing you could ever imagine, and we're dubious about whether it will have the noise dampening qualities that will that will stop the noise coming across to our houses. And in fact, it may amplify it, as someone has said. So that's their consultation process for the noise wall. They've made a final decision, and they've picked an option which they've never discussed with any single person in this community. And let me tell you, this is how scurrilous it is. Not a single person in this community did they discuss their final decision with. They gave us options to discuss, and none of those options are the final decision. So that's how scurrilous this whole process is.
And they won't answer our questions.
And they're still not answering our questions. Now, okay, so they've come up with this noise wall. Not only have they chosen a wall they've never discussed with us, it is doubtful whether this wall will actually be successful, whether it will actually stop the noise. One of the things that we've found, if you go out the front of my house and if you have a look at the blog, you'll see the video of it. The rail line is 2.5 metres above the road. The wall they're proposing is 3 metres above the road. So guess what? They're going to cover half of a wheel with the noise wall. Now you tell me, is half a wheel going to stop the noise that's coming off the railway line?
It's a really bad option.
It's a really bad option, yes. So that's what they're proposing. Now, all along the rail line, there are issues like that. But they've only got one solution. Build a noise wall 3.5 metres at one end to 2.5 metres at the other end. They're not taking into account, obviously they haven't been down there, because if they actually had to walk the distance, they'll say, well, that won't work there, that won't work there, and that won't work there. Yes, that's right. Yep. Okay, now what about the visual amenity? Now, all of us are concerned. We get up, we bought our houses in this area, or we rent our houses in this area, and one of the nicest things about it is having that open space. So one of the things that they're going to do is they're going to take away the open space with a wall we don't even think is going to work.
They've already taken away hundreds and hundreds of trees without a replanting.
That's right. So the visual amenity, what's going to happen with the look of the wall? As I said to you, they've never discussed the options with us. They've just given us an option which we never saw before the decision was made.
That's not
right? That's not consultation. But not only that, the wall they're building is ugly as sin. And what they've told us is they're going to make it shaped so it looks like a roof. They're going to cut little shapes in it. And guess what? It's going to have windows. Windows. That big. So what you can do is you can look out and you'll have a view. Excuse me, but that's a bit pathetic. That is so pathetic. You know, it's total fake consultation, and they're not really addressing our concerns. Now, when it comes down to landscaping, they gave us a choice of 2 trees that we could choose from. You know, that's their landscaping plan. They said they're going to leave as many trees there as possible, but there's no real plan which goes and outlines what they're going to do along the length of the railway line. Now, all of you who live there know that the building and construction has created these massive potholes. They've ripped up all the trees along Forest Street from Anderson Road down to the creek. They've done a whole lot of work on either side of the railway line, and there is no guarantee that when they leave, it's not going to still look like a building site. And we want to make sure that when they leave, they're going to fix the place, replant the trees, make sure that the grass is back there, that there aren't huge potholes, and that where there's parking, or where there was supposed to be parking, that it's actually viable. Okay, the third thing, consultation. Now this is something that has really driven us wild. Their idea of consultation, and they have said this over and over again, right, is one-on-one. Now, have you ever asked yourself, why do they want one-on-one? And the reason why... Yeah. Look, and as the lady over here says, you weren't even home. Well, sorry we missed you. That's what we got. That's what we got. That's consultation. Sorry we missed you.
I don't even.
And you know what? When I got that leaflet in the mail, I rang the call centre. Right? Yeah, you rang them up, and they said, "Look, we'll get back to you."
Ah, yeah, right.
Right. Wait. 1 week, 2 weeks, nothing. So I ring them again. They said, "Oh, we'll definitely get back to you." Gave them my phone number, and guess what? I was at work at the time. They rang my work number, and because I couldn't answer the phone, they left a message. And guess what the message said?
Sorry we missed you.
Yes. And guess what it said all after that? Can you please ring the call centre again? So I rang the call centre again, and they said they'd take my number and ring me back. I said, no, this is ridiculous. I can't talk to these people. But that's the sort of consultation they've adopted along the way. And they've never, ever called a meeting of local residents to discuss this. And the reason why that is so important, it is so important that we all convene a meeting, that we're all present, is that they can say what they say to us individually in public.
Yep.
We wanted them to say and what they say in public and be subject to scrutiny, and so that we can ask them questions. We can say, well, okay, you think it costs too much. How much does it cost? And do you know? And if you know that it's too much, then you must know how much it costs. So why can't you tell us? So we can say, okay, if that is the best option for a noise wall, have you considered other objectives? Have you considered other materials? What other materials have you considered? What are the costs and benefits for that? What's the pros and cons of this material? Have you got a landscape plan? So we can do it in public. So they don't have to lie to us in our homes when we finally do get to have a chat with them, so they can tell us the truth and do it in public and be accountable. So that's the sort of consultation that we want.
They don't want security in numbers.
Now, the last point I want to make about the consultation is that they say they have consulted the council, and the council is working with them towards making sure that this rail link meets our needs. Well, look, I went along to the council meeting last Tuesday, and I saw a report by the council manager, and the council manager said that they had been told by Regional Rail Link that they had consulted us, and that we had been consulted about the rail line. So what they're saying is Regional Rail Link is saying to us they consulted the council. They're saying to the council they consulted us, and guess what? No one's really getting consulted. What's happening is they're making their decisions on what they think is the best fit, what they want to do, because that's the cheapest option, and they don't give a damn about what it's going to do to us. Okay.
And enough's enough.
And enough's enough. We want answers. Okay.
What's Bernie doing about it?
Now, what we got here is today we're going to do a demonstration for you. We're going to give people an idea of what it's like to live beside the railway line and what it's like to live there in the future. And remember, right now we get about a train every 20 minutes. It's loud, it's noisy. If it comes in the final what's that show?
Modern Family?
What's that?
Modern Family.
No, the show. There's a show on TV. I forgot it. Australia's Got Talent. And if you want to know who won Australia's Got Talent, you better hope a train doesn't go past. Because what happens is you won't know that Dami won because the train went past at the wrong time.
Woo!
Now, if you're lucky, sorry. Yes. Sorry, my neighbour, Kevin, reminded me about another point. The third point, the last point that I forgot to mention was the bells. What's going to happen at all the level crossings where pedestrians cross is they're going to put a series of bells. And they're going to be going off every time a train goes to stop people from crossing the rail line. But guess what? That's going to be bells going every 3 minutes just about all day. And they'll be going all day and night and half the night when the goods trains are going past. So that's another point that we've been trying to explain to the Regional Rail Link and these guys over here what we're trying to get done. Okay, so where was I? Noise. So what we're going to do now is a demonstration, and I need my trusty assistants to help me with the demonstration of what it's going to sound like and I'll need that iPad, Claude, so do you want to turn it off?
Alright.